So if I ever plan on coming back here for camping, I got some options, and you do too. At Hayes Lake State Park, located in Roseau, Minnesota, in Roseau County, the northwestern portion of the state. Alright, so we are at Hayes Lake State Park, located in Roseau, Minnesota. This is the northwestern region of the state. And we're gonna do a scout of the camp spots here. So in the Hayes Lake Campground, there's about 35 campsites. There's a mixture of non-electric and electric. And there's also 2 camper cabins. One of them is in the main Hayes Lake Campground, and another one is a little bit off, further south. And near that, between that camper cabin and the main Hayes Lake Campground, there appears to be some walk-in sites as well. So we're going to take a look at all these campsites. First, we're going to do a quick drive-through, do a bit of a pre-scout, and then we're going to find a place to park, pop out, and take a closer look. I currently do not have any cell service here, and I haven't had it for about 10 minutes on the way into here as well. So I don't think there's much cell service in this state park. closest gas stations that I saw around the vicinity here was within about 20 miles or so. This does appear to be more of a less populated portion of the state. So we're going to take a right and look at the main Hayes Lake campground first, and then we're going to come back into this intersection and go straight right here, just to see the drive-in portion where the other camper cabin is and the walk-in sites are as well. And it looks like there may be either one or two walk-in sites that are right next to each other. And they seem to be right on Hayes Lake. And Hayes Lake has kind of a serpent structure to it. So there's two loops here. This is the A loop. There's a vault toilet to our right. Campsite 9 here is kind of spaced out further than all the other sites. I did actually reserve this site for camping here tonight. We're going to pop out and take a closer look, like I said, but that site looks amazing. There's Hayes Lake straight ahead. We got some trail action over here. Pine Ridge Interpretive Trail. You can actually take that over to a bog walk, and you can also continue on that to head over to the walk-in sites and one of the other camper cabins. To our right here is Grefton Bay. Looks like there's some forestry action going on here. Looks like this will take you to the bog walk. I might squeeze the bog walk into the Scout here. We'll see how things go when we're out there. It's in like the mid-20s right now. Starting to get cold out. Okay, now we're going to check out the other loop. The B loop, sites 27 through 35. And in here towards the end of the loop, or the tip of the loop, is one of the camper cabins. Now both of those camper cabins are booked for the night. So they're either blocked out or they're literally reserved. Got some more forestry action over here. To our left is the trailer dump station. And here's one of the camper cabins. This is the Timber, I believe. Timb, T-I-M-B camper cabin. Alright, so that's a quick look at the A and B loops. Now we're going to go back to that intersection, take a right, and head on over towards where you would park for the other camper cabin, which is currently called Camp 3. The Camp 3 cabin. Seems a little weird to have it a number 3. It doesn't make sense to me. There might be a historical reason for that. But yeah, there's the TIMB camper cabin and the Camp 3 camper cabin. Turns right here. Walk-in sites and cabin 3. And when we scout these on foot, we're going to take the trail kind of by where we saw that dog walk entry point. We're going to take that trail over rather than walking down this road. So we'll get to check some of that trail out too. I've never been to this state park until now, and I'm getting some good vibes from it. I kind of like it already. Seems like a really reasonable campground as far as the layout goes and the scenery. Looking at the map here, and it looks like this road goes on for a little bit here. So it might be a little over a mile or so until we get to that Camp 3 parking area, which you may also be able to park there in that parking area for the walk-in site as well. But we'll see. That sign we just passed called out Norway plantings. Guess the different various trees around here. So the walk-in sites actually is right here. So it looks like this is where you would park actually for the walk-in sites. And I'm not totally sure if there's 1 or 2 sites, but it looks like there's 2 parking spaces here. One just in front to our right and the other just in front to our left. And when we check out the walk-in sites, we'll walk to here as well to connect the dots per se. So I'm kind of a walk-in site guy, and I really like that, how they got their parking right there. So now we'll just check out the that Camp 3 area where you would park for that camper cabin. This is a relatively tight road. It's not really potholey or anything. It's pretty smooth. It'd be pretty difficult though if an oncoming vehicle came. It'd be kind of hard to make room right here you could probably do it. So there's certain parts, but it's still pretty tight squeeze. And we have approximately 3 hours of daylight as of right now. So I'm just going to try to keep things moving here the whole way. Oh, there we go. There we go. All right, so now we get to see. Now we get to see. All right. So I think they're closer. This entry point here. Yeah, okay. Okay, good. Good, thanks. So cabin 3 is over there. That's the obstacle life likes to throw at us at crucial moments. We're going to go into cabin 3 here now. So look, there was a little gate right there as well. That person might be, they may have reserved this cabin, so they might be wondering why I'm going in here. They might be going to get supplies or whatever. But that's okay. It's like a trail intersection right here. And when we do the foot scout, we might come in right here in this intersection. We may not though, because we might get a good enough look here. Wow, yeah, this is right on the lake here. This is phenomenal. Wow. You get access to the lake down there. You can park right over here. And you got your own little vault toilet right here. I'm not a camper cabin guy, but this is a phenomenal spot for a camper cabin. This is amazing. And we got a pretty good look here. So there's really no need to come back here and walk around. Try to stay out of this guy's neighborhood. That probably is the guy who got it reserved for tonight. Okay, so now we're just going to backtrack down this road. And when we get to the point where we're at the entry for the main campground, we're going to kind of teleport into the future, and I'm going to be boots on ground with the body cam, and we'll go ahead and take a closer look at all the sites. As usual, I'm kind of pumped to see what those elusive walk-in sites look like. And that site 9 that I have reserved to camp at tonight, that looked really good just from the profile driving by it. So I'm pretty pumped about that. It's kind of cool. We got here just in time. So that guy he wasn't too far out where he could backtrack a little and let us get past. And then he left, so we had an opportunity to go in there and look around without being creepy or weird. Even though we probably gave him a weird vibe as he was heading out, he saw us going in there. But that's okay. Supposed to get into the upper teens tonight. So maybe 18 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's pretty cold. But I got everything winterized, so I'm ready to go. Oh, he's up there now, so he's seeing me coming out, so he's probably not as creeped out. And to our left is the walk-in site parking again. Alright, we're approaching the intersection here, so I'm gonna go find a place to park, and I'm gonna put some gear on, use the restroom, and then we're gonna teleport back to this vicinity. Right here. See you soon. We stopped over there last. I just kind of brought it to this part of the road here so I don't have to walk down there. I went and parked over in the picnic grounds, and I took a trail over towards the top part of the A-loop here and walked up here. So we'll take it from the tippy top, put boots on the ground. We'll start with the Loop A, sites 1 through 26. We've got some the shell layer on, legs as well, shell layer. Pretty windy out here. The air is nice and crisp. Starting to really get that winter is starting to move in.
I'm pretty sure that's a grouse. There's a lot of pines here. I wasn't really expecting that. It's kind of more like in the northern central part of the state. That's pretty cool. Got some talking wood here, creaking. I believe that's the wood talking. It might be an insect or a bird. I really like this tree here in the middle. It's a nice touch. Hopefully that'll last a long time. Oh, we got some cord action over here. Using a Gerber EAB, the light version. I keep that on me at all times. It's extraordinarily useful, especially when working in a warehouse specifically. So make a hank out of it and stow it away in the chest rig. This is called a clove hitch on the end here that I'm doing, tying it off with. Some of these sites are a little closer together than I'd like to see. This one's pretty close to that vault toilet, which is convenient and obnoxious, depending on the volume of people here. I didn't see any spots reserved here tonight except the camper cabins and my spot that I reserved, site 9. So it'd probably be a good night for this site. This is the only vault toilet I can recall seeing in the pre-scout, so I may have driven by one and not noticed it. There's got to be another one in the other loop. We'll take a look at it though. Not bad. Not bad at all. Alright, plug your ears. That's pretty loud. And you're going to want to keep the toilet seat down, so anyone in the neighboring sites here will hear that slam. This is a really nice vault toilet. It's a nice big one, nice and stacked. Don't see any night lights in here, but those really don't matter to me personally, because I have a headlamp. That's a good one. There's a lot of evidence around the area here with a lot of downed trees. So there may have been a storm recently this year that took a lot of stuff out. We'll see that as we go around here. This one still looks like there might have been some forestry work here with some vehicles. So that's going to take a little bit of time to recover. They should probably block this site out for a season. I really noticed it a lot here with 7 as well. Weird how you got the parking block here facing this direction. That's really weird. Maybe they just moved it out of the way so they could do some forestry work here to clean it up. All of these sites are reservable on the website. They're all green, meaning you could select them and reserve them, so they're not blacked out. But they probably should have some of these ones blacked out, like this one and the other one we just saw. This one more so, but this should recover maybe a year or so. They should probably give it a break in 2026 though. Yeah, you can see the tire marks there working in here. This site's kind of like a mini forest. Really spacious, and there's trees at the same time. So I'm gonna try to keep the scout average time per site down to under 2 minutes per site. That should ensure I make it back to camp before it starts getting real dark. So this site's in good condition. So it's just those previous 2 that kind of took a hit recently. And Hayes Lake is in that direction, by the way. So for practical reasons, to make this scout possible, I had to book a night here without pre-scouting it or knowing what the sites look like in person. So I just rolled the dice and I chose site 9 because of its distance that it has between the other sites. And it actually has more distance from this site to these sites than I thought it would. But it is closer to 10 than I thought it would be. But in driving by it earlier, I'm really impressed by it. So I kind of made the right choice. Yeah, this is my favorite one so far, literally. So that's pretty cool. I'm gonna see if I could do my tent right here. I like sleeping under pines. It may not be practical. It seems practical enough. The ground here. Put my head here, kind of arch downward a little. Not too bad. Yeah, this is nice and spacious. I like smaller hunkered-in sites. This is probably 2 times bigger than my ideal size site for me personally, but this is still very nice. It's private too. It's relatively close to the vault toilet. That's a good one. No worry of any headlights either pointing inward. You just got to worry about people's obnoxious halogen headlamps and these lanterns that the people are using nowadays. So right in here, depending on what kind of lanterns and headlamps they have, that might shine in here. Tonight though, I'm probably going to be the only one in the campground, which is usually how I like it. And this side has a backdoor neighbor over there on the other side of the loop. There's a little bit of space and some bush in between. The lips are chapping up a bit, so I use a Simply Neosporin. It's a multifunctional purpose, but it works really well as a lip balm. And if your skin is dry, you can use it as a type of Vaseline or lotion, and it doesn't take a lot of it for it to be effective. So multiple uses. I always have this stuff on me at all times. I've even helped other people with it, with applying it to their cuts. So this one I saw walking in here, and I really like this one. This is kind of my ideal size. It's a little open in here, But I like this back area over here. Ooh. Big chunk of wood in there. Little lumpy though on the ground here for a tent. So I probably wouldn't tent in here because of that. Right here though would be ideal, and it's near the fire pit. Just gotta watch the wind and the flame, the height of the flame. This looks like it's part of the surrounding area and someone used it. So I'm just gonna return it to the surrounding area here to, you know, help keep things where they are. And yeah, fits in perfect. No need to use that unless you really need to use that. I was tempted to take it for tonight, but sort of be breaking one of my own rules that I judge others for. And I do got 2 bundles of wood, so I'm good to go. Yeah, I like this campground so far. It's pretty reasonable. We got this distance here. This is what it should be like between every site. The distance we're walking right now at every campground. Very reasonable. But then you got this action going on here. Boom, boom. Here we got an electric site. I have the Avenza Maps app as always. It does show my location down here in the blue right here. It also has this handy map of the campground up here. So it doesn't show your GPS on the map part of the campground. But it helps you with the numbering. I like the needles here all over in the trees, the way they're laid out. I like how you gotta put your vehicle in between these trees. That's really cool, in my opinion. It's got what you're dealing with. Looks like we're a little close to this site over here. That's unfortunate. So I like what it looks like on the inside of this site, but it's sandwiched between there and there. So roll the dice. You got a little trail here too, it looks like. You can cut to what is over there. Maybe showers. We'll see that when we get to it. So if you're camping over there, people that are here might cut through just alongside your site to get to over there, which can be really annoying. Some people are more efficient than other people, and as far as how they do things, so some people make multiple trips. You'll hear that a lot with doors slamming constantly because they just keep going in and out of their vehicle to get stuff and shut the door, get stuff, shut the door. So it all depends on who it is that's near you. There's Hayes Lake. It's kind of got like a serpent shape to it. This one we got pretty close to this one over here. So I think the trailer dump station is in the other loop, but it'd be on this part of the loop, but it's not over here, so you wouldn't have to worry about that here. Not sure what that sound was. So this is the Pine Ridge Trail that I came in on before I started the body cam footage, and it goes all the way down to the picnic area. So when we finish up with the scout of the sites, we're gonna head back this way, and I'll probably just show this area too. It's pretty cool. It's a nice little area. There is a lot of, it looks like a lot of trails around here in this park. Also got some parking area here, so you might be able to actually park right here. Over here, as I called out in the vehicle, we got Grefton Bay. Let's take a look at this. I took a picture of this woodcut over in the picnic area as well. When I was coming in on that trail, I think there was one called Beauty Bay. Yeah, but we'll take a look at that when we finish up towards the end. You see ice is starting to form. Pretty nice. So here's the some of the forestry devastation. Looks like this is where they put a lot of what they collected over here, maybe. Oh, there's some parking here too for the Gruffin Bay. And this site here is right in the open here by this curve. Getting a lot of similarities to Rice Lake State Park in Owatonna, Minnesota. When I scouted that earlier this year, there's a lot of devastation there. They have an A loop and a B loop as well. There's a lot of similarities. I think this is a more beautiful part of the state though, given the pines specifically. If you're wondering about my shock rings, the yellow one is to remind me to quit using the F word and cursing God, and the green one is to remind me to check my oil level before I head out here tomorrow morning. I'm going to Old Mill State Park tomorrow to scout that campground, and then after that I'm going to Red River State Recreation Area to scout that campground. That'll put a bow on this ambitious weekend. This one's just a little too exposed for my liking, with the vehicles going around. Just kind of feel like a zoo exhibit to a certain point. So we started the foot scout at about 3 p.m. or 1500. So the goal is about less than 2 minutes per site. So site 16 times 2. All right, so we're ahead of the game. We're doing good. Yeah, this one ain't too bad. It's just the vehicle lights. They'll do a sweeping action as they go around this loop here. So it'll sweep the site here. Cool tenting area though. There too, maybe. So that might not matter with the lights. You're right along this trail though to the bog walk. That might be a little trafficky. We'll see how things go on the way back. If we got time, we might take a stab at the bog walk. That might be actually between here and the walk-in site, so maybe on the way back from the walk-in sites we'll take a stab at the bog walk. So it's kind of sandwiched. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're kind of sandwiched between 4 sites here on this one. Yeah, pretty close. They're going to cut across here to go there. So I camped at Sibley State Park last night in New London, Minnesota, and it was about a 4.5 hour drive from there to here. That's close for the season. It does say showers and restrooms. Okay. Alright. We can't see what they look like, but they exist. Some drinking water right there. Some garbage disposal there. It's looking for a church. It won't be a difficult search because there's one on every other block. Everywhere. I've noticed that everywhere I go. And our bodies, our carnal temples are churches, by the way, so welcome home. At every moment of your life in this world, you are in a church. I noticed that there's a Red Lake reservation in this little square here and up here and over here and down here. So this site's kind of plopped in a trafficy area. But if you have like an RV or something like that and you like being near the showers, but if you're tent camping, I'd say forget this site. Except for like on nights like tonight. And I'm still wondering if there's a vault toilet over there in the other loop, but we'll find out soon enough. Here we're kind of getting back into some of the sites I look for. Yeah, this looks great. Really nice. And that's the site on the other side of the road over there, so it's not just right here. So this is a good one. Yeah, it's right by the showers and the restrooms. Not sure about the vault toilet yet though. You can see the path most people take to use them from here. Yeah, a lot of level area here. Big, spacious too. So that's a good one. I got another knucklehead put a nail in here. I hate that because I don't have a tool on me to take those out. Another nails here. Those are old. There's some knuckleheads had to put their string lights up or something. People are just, something's wrong with people, man. I just don't understand. There's another nail over here. It's like the same kind of screws that they put over there, so this is probably the same knucklehead that did that. Oh, that's a drywall screw or what it is, but it's just despicable. If you do that, you are a coward. You are a loser coward. That is just ridiculous. So other than the cowards that were here before, this is a great site. And if you have the tools on hand, please remove those objects because the cowards forgot to. There's probably better words than coward, but that's kind of like saying that word. Ooh. There's a site right over there. It's a little close. And a site right over there. So this is probably filled in the summer, but you'd probably be asking yourself, why do I keep hearing whispering, coughing, and giggling all the time? It'd be those sites over there. Very nice space though from the sites over here. Well, this one's kind of adjacent here. They did a relatively good job staggering a chunk of these sites in this loop. Kind of want to go a little slower, but there's really no need, and I gotta stay on top of the daylight thing here. This one has a really one of those creepy backdoor paths to another site. These are probably created by wildlife or the park staff when they go to each site. I'm thinking more so wildlife, but I'll just get a weird vibe from these creepy backdoor paths from one site to another. That was a little unnecessary. And more cowards here. Oh well. And cigarette butts, or cigarette butts specifically. So, evidence of dereliction and eggshells. That was smart, guys. Thanks. Some people are hard on their luck, but if you're hard on your luck, you probably shouldn't be smoking cigarettes. Shouldn't be smoking anything. That's hard to do though. In your 20s, it's hard to say no. At least it was for me. So the sun's supposed to set at like 4:55. So this one looks promising, but you got the other side on the other side right there. And you got the vault toilet there, so this site is going to be tempted to cut across here to go to that vault toilet as a convenience. So I don't see any paths really. Right here a little bit. So if this site was occupied, probably people wouldn't cut through here, but you never know who's in here. You never know what level of shame they have for themselves. Some people are absolutely shameless. Cut through with a Bud Light in their hand. Or maybe I'm Milwaukee's best. Alright, this looks like the final site in the Loop A. Kind of wish it would snow tonight a little bit. It actually was a little bit of flurries on the way up here. I was kind of happy. A little bit was it was accumulating too, just a little bit. You can see it blowing in the wind. A little strange as a direct path to the road right here. It makes no sense. So I'm guessing it's a relative trail. Wildlife. Speaking of which, there's I think today's the hunting opener. I've seen a lot of orange vests out there murdering. Bunch of potbelly orange vests wearing. orange vests wearing potbellies out there today in their big trucks. Murdering. Good for them. Alright, so this is try to cut the rhetoric there. This is the first loop. It's not bad. I said there's about 3 sites in there that I'd be okay with. And luckily one of them I have reserved tonight. So I am super happy about that. Just got this hunky-dory feeling like the vitamin D's kicking in or something, you know? Not quite like the codeine's kicking in, but you know, kind of like the vitamin D's kicking in, just to be specific. All right, Loop B, sites 27 through 35. I prefer if they said A loop and B loop rather than Loop A and Loop B, but to each his own. I might have changed my mind on that, actually. Ooh. Okay. I got evidence of dereliction here. It looks like it might be boxers as well, so that's disturbing and creepy. Very close to this site over here, and you got the really creepy path, which makes no sense. You're right on the road here. There's not really much blocking anything, so you're kind of a zoo exhibit for vehicles passing by, which would probably mainly just be for the camper cabin, but there is something else down there. I'm not 100% sure, so let's take a look here. It looks like there's a vault toilet way down here. This road goes along here. Camper cabin, walk-in sites, that's right, those. And then the camper cabin 3. And then it looks like it ends down there. Okay. And it looks like there is another T for toilet or vault toilet down towards the end of this loop. So even though that doesn't really matter for me tonight personally, I'm kind of hoping there is another vault toilet in this loop, because those restrooms and showers are seasonal only. I do think though that the season for this campground, in about 2 weeks, you can't even, the whole thing's blocked out in 2 weeks, so they're closing for the year pretty soon anyways. That's kind of why I wanted to get in here and take care of this year while I could. Yeah, so really close to here, as we saw in the other one. Got some creaking wood over here. Whew. A little close to this one over here. Ridiculously close to this one, and a little too close to that one as well, though that's a little further back. So this one, you got at least 3 sites that are closer, and then you got the one across we just came from. That's 4. It's a quintuple threat. It looks like it is some very light snowflakes. So close to this one over here, a little bit of evidence of dereliction. cigarette butts, cans, so that's always pathetic. Kind of shocked at how many people smoke cigarettes in 2025. It's kind of sad. The recent legalization of marijuana, there's a whole litany of village idiots that started smoking that now, so that's real cute. Once it became legal, I quit smoking it because I've seen how stupid the people were that do it. I was awakened to it. We got the water right here, the well, which is pretty close to this site over here. We'll see that when we go around. But yeah, now when I go camping, you hear the woman in the background coughing, and you just know their baby lungs are smoking weed. It's just pathetic. Oh, we got a little, wow, little horseshoes just kind of, what? There's even horseshoes here. Wow, I've seen the poles before, but I've never seen like horseshoes as well. That is cool, man. Wow, that is super cool. A little more devastation in there. I'm thinking a storm came through here. Kind of blacked out. I don't really remember if I went in here or not. I don't remember if I just did this. Okay. Too busy thinking of cute things to say. I don't think I was in here. Wow, so, see, I'm brain dead. I can't even remember if I was here or not. It's not too bad. The electric sites will cost you a little more, so if you don't use the electricity, there's really no point, unless it's just a nice location, you just prefer where it's located, then you pay the extra for it. I've done that several times. There it is, hiding and kind of in plain view, not really. So we got our vault toilet right over here, so this will be open when that is not. Not bad at all. Someone got the Caribbean colada as well. Oh, that's so cool how they did this. You got this little light that stopped working. Someone probably left it on. Laminated map. Wow, that is really nice. It smells really good in here, obviously. I think a vehicle maybe just drove by. I love it when that happens when I'm in a vault toilet. It's so cool. I really love this. It's a really nice touch. Yeah, it's laminated. Someone laminated this and then they stapled it up here. Whoever did that, you totally rock. That is so awesome. Wow, that is cool, man. And the tree, I'm guilty of doing that. This is a pretty good vault toilet. I'm gonna blow my nose so I quit recycling. There we go. Yeah, there's a vehicle down there. I got the bright halogens over there. Oh, that's for the camper cabin. So the camper cabin beat us. Dang it. They beat us. Ah, dang it. It's alright, we know what it looks like. So here's the trailer dump station. Pardon those annoyingly bright halogen lights. Okay. I don't know, there may have been parking in here before they use this as a pile for the trees. It looks like there's a trail over here. Yeah, looks like a trail right there for sure. So we might come back on this trail. We might have to cut through here though and get back on the trail that way to see the walk-in sites actually. Yeah, I think we will. So I don't want to hop on the road. Here's the timber cabin. So that's a nice location for the cabin as well. It's near the vault toilet and the restrooms and the showers when they're open. The other cabin, Camp 3, that's impressive. The location is impressive on that one. So I'd go for that one if you could. You don't have the showers, but you don't need to shower ever, so who cares? That might be a pumpkin. So here you're right next to the cabin over here. So depending on who's there, it could be really annoying. I could hear them pretty clearly. They weren't even yelling or nothing. Yeah, this area's a little devastation-y. Wow. So I wouldn't recommend this particular site at all because it's by the well. You're gonna have people cutting through to go to the. Oh, and they won't go to the. They won't cut through for the vault toilet actually. It's a little devastation-y right now. We need to let this site recover. Yeah, we probably will need to backtrack on this particular part of the loop to pop on that trail for the walk-in sites because I'm not walking down the road. We already drove down it anyways. There's only one more site after this one anyways, I believe here. That's pretty close to that one. Close to this one. A little devastation-y action here. That'll probably clear up relatively soon. I don't know, it's just a little devastation-y for me. A little open as well. It's not 4 yet, so that's really good. Alright, so those guys are driving away, so when we backtrack we might get a chance to look at the camper cabin, which is really greedy of me because we got a good enough look anyways. I'm just saying, it's kind of exciting. And it's close to that site. Okay. 35 should be the last site here in the Loop B. Alright, so we're going to backtrack down this road and we're going to pop on this trail, the Pine Ridge Trail. That's the same one I came in on. We're going to go past the bog walk and then continue on that trail until we hit the walk-in sites. And we already got a good enough look at the Camp 3 cabin, so I'm not going to hike down there. So after we look at the walk-in sites, we're going to go ahead and head back on that Pine Ridge Trail all the way towards the camp or the picnic area where I park my vehicle, and then we'll put a bow on it. So while we're on the way here, I will look at this cabin real quick. Okay. Looks like they got propane over there too. That's good enough. Looks like it's one of the standard cabins you see at most state parks. They already started loading their stuff in there. So technically 4 p.m. is when the reservation starts, but that's okay. You know what it looks like, you know where it is, you are informed. Alright, and now for my favorite part, checking out the walk-in sites. And once we go to where the sites are from this trail, we'll go to where we saw that parking area for them to kind of connect the dots. You can see the distance from the parking area to the actual walk-in sites. And I do believe there's 2 of them at this point, which is unfortunate because if there is, they're right next to each other, which is really sad that they decided to do that. So depending on the time of the year, you might just want to book both of them just to be safe. But they might not even look that good, you know? So we'll see. Hunting season is going on now. We are in this red zone. This whole area is kind of red right now on another map. Non-hunting area there. Basically the camping area is kind of redded out. There's a bear track trail this way, so we're not going to go down that. All right, this intersection right here, the bear track trail goes up, then up over here, and it kind of stops at the tip. And we're gonna make our way past the bog walk, but we might look at it on the way back. We're making pretty good time, but it's gonna get dark here. Probably gonna be pretty dim here in like 40 minutes. Oh, that's cool. Wow, I'm gonna keep things moving though. But yeah, that's cool. It looks like it's a short one too. I still have no signal here, just SOS only. Well, luckily I have a Garmin GPS device that helps me figure out where some gas stations are. So I'm at about a quarter tank, and there wasn't a litany of gas stations on the way here that I noticed. All the towns around here, the cities, are really low population. At least the ones I passed. So this trail is wide enough for a small vehicle. Like I'm talking about like a state park type of vehicle. So it's possible they might have firewood here as well, that they deliver it and have some available. That'd be nice if that was the case. All right, we're making good way here from the campground to where we're headed. We're about 40% of the way. So if you go to the walk-in sites, you can still walk this trail to get to the showers and the restrooms. There should be vault toilets or latrines over here though. At least one that's probably shared. I give that a really high probability that that's the case. I got a bad feeling though these sites are right next to each other. So tonight I got freeze-dried food, Mountain House. So I'm gonna do the pasta primavera. I did the creamy mac and cheese last night, which is my favorite. And I have the King's sweet rolls. You see those sold out during Thanksgiving in the orange packaging. Those go really good with the Mountain House creamy mac and cheese or the Mountain House pasta primavera. I really wanted to try the biscuits and gravy, but I stopped eating meat in February 26th of 2020. So that's okay. But I'm pretty sure I would love that one. I wish they had like a vegan, I know it sounds like a sissy saying that, but like a vegan biscuits and gravy. It seems like almost all gravy though is like meat based to some extent. Although I do remember my grandmother making a milk gravy, but I'm not sure if there are meat related ingredients associated with it. I never really cared for it that much. I remember that. I just love the brown gravy. Oh, I just love that with the potatoes. So I definitely miss that. But I don't miss looking like a ball and having a pot belly. I don't miss that. This is a loop around right here. One more, like a notch or a switchback kind of. I kind of wish I could go slower, but This is already an ambitious venture. Tomorrow I got 2 more scouts, as I mentioned. The campground at Old Mill State Park, which is about an hour from here, hour west of here. And that's a clean cut one. That'll take less than an hour to drive through and go out and foot and look at each of the sites inside and out. None of them are reservable because they're closed for this season. Looks like there's parking right near there too, so that the walk-in won't be that far after I do the drive-in and park. And then I decided, because I was in the area, to add the Red River State Recreation Area campground. I believe it's called the Sherlock Park Campground. And that is just a big sardine fest for RVs. However, there are 4 walk-in sites. And those, of course, are the ones I'm really interested in. Got some substantial wood creaking over here. There's a tree leaning. I'm not a big fan of creaking wood sounds because it just sounds like, I usually live in an apartment, so it sounds like the neighbor above me going to the bathroom and going back to Facebook and then going to the bathroom again. It's just really annoying. Oh, there's a spider descending on the web. Wow. He's trying to land on me. Wow. Interesting. I was at Franz Hebne State Park scouting that campground last weekend. I did Big Bog Campground as well, but Franz Hebne State Park had a really magical moment there with some black-capped chickadees, and I got onto a perch on my finger, which is on my bucket list of things to do ever since I saw Joel Candy Adventures do that in one of his videos. So now I'm not really jealous of him for that anymore, and I can check that off my list. Wow, that's pretty serious. So that's ridiculous creaky wood right there. And these are fallen, so I'm thinking these bad boys could snap at any moment. Here we go. We got a vault toilet here. We got a site right here. Here's walk-in site 1. And it's a reasonable distance from the other one. It is very reasonable. It's still close, but they could have crammed in 3 more sites between here like they usually do. So that's really cool, man. And this is right on Hayes Lake. Wow. Pine needles. Wow, this is great. You're right along the walking trail. The vault toilet is right there. That is so cool, man. Lake access is not practical, which is fine for me. Wow, you can see Beauty Bay down the way. We'll see that on our way back. It's not too dark. I got a picture of it anyways. I'll drop it in somewhere. Wow. It's a good one, guys. It's a good one. Little close. It's the only risk. The parking's a little cramped up there too. We'll look at that again on foot here once we finish looking at this other site. So I really like this site a lot. It might actually be better to have neighbors over there because it might get creepy at night out here. We'll check this out on our way back. Wondering where the okay, this should be the path to the parking down here, and then the trail would continue this way. So W2 is the first one you'd see coming from the parking area, if this is the parking area, which it probably is. And the numbering's a little weird. This one's more open. More than one picnic table, 2 different kinds. I definitely like the other one better, me personally, but some people might like the open area more. Perfect spot for a tent right there. And you got a view of this area of the lake down here. Wow. You can see the ice forming. So accessing the lake is not practical. So some people might be able to pull it off. Wow. So these are some cool walk-in sites. We'll put a tent right here. One thing I don't like about it is you got the tent is in view of the walkway here, which is not that big of a deal, I guess. Okay, you could probably go down here. I probably wouldn't mess with that myself. Wow, this looks like an old school one, shorter. This is the classic. Usually you see more of these. And you do have some downed wood here, so I don't know, it might not be a big deal if you harvest some of this stuff. It's almost like they put it here for that reason, but I'm not 100% on that. I don't know how well it would burn anyways. Probably hiss. Wow, you can see Beauty Bay down there. Oh, I'm so happy I got to see these awesome sights. Looks good. I approve. Okay. Now we're going to go up towards the parking area. And this trail will continue towards the Camp 3 camper cabin, which we saw earlier, which is completely awesome. That's one of the coolest locations for a camper cabin I've ever seen, actually. I just wish it had a more interesting name, and the number 3 doesn't make sense to me. So this is already feeling like it's more of a cart-in site than a walk-in site, so you're gonna have to walk a little bit. I noticed some people bring in their own carts. I think there's some with like bigger wheels and you can fold them up. So if you have a vehicle that will accommodate storing that, probably gonna, and you have one of those, you might want to bring it here. Or if you got a rucksack, you can just ruck in your stuff, obviously. So this is a further walk than I thought it would be. I'd say it's about 3 times farther than what I was thinking, maybe 4 times farther than what I was thinking, based on looking at the map. There it is. It's the parking area. You could park 2 vehicles. and it looks like you really can't park. Some people here have more than one vehicle and you can't park here, which could occur. It doesn't look like parking over in the Camp 3 area is a reasonable venture because it's gated off before you get to where you would park in there. That's solely for the Camp 3 area. So you would have to park kind of where I parked in the picnic area actually, which is pretty far. Well, you might be able to pull something off alongside of the road here. Yeah, you're not really fitting more than 2 vehicles in here. And remember earlier, this road was narrow, so you can't really pull alongside it. And in a pinch, if you have a small enough vehicle, you could park in here. You could, and maybe even right here alongside, and still leave enough opening here. So you might be able to do 4 vehicles in a pinch. So if you're going to park over here on the edge, you couldn't park on this edge. So parking on this edge looks less reasonable in real life. So obviously you park there and there. Here is a backup, and maybe here as well as another backup. Not bad. Those are options, guys. I call gals guys too, guys, in case you're wondering. You know, when I used to hang out with people before I was like an isolationist, I used to love walking into a room full of girls and saying, "What's up, guys? This is so cool." I used to have friends that were girls, you know, different stages of my life. But I'm pretty isolated socially since like 2017, 2016. All right, so these are the walk-in sites, the awesome walk-in sites at Hayes Lake State Park, located in Roseau, Minnesota, in Roseau County, the northwestern portion of the state. And for me, it's the final frontier as far as state parks go. There's only 3 state parks I haven't been at yet, and 1 state recreation area. So I got Zipple Bay to go to, Old Mill, which I'm doing tomorrow, and then Red River State Recreation Area, which I'm doing tomorrow if all goes well. And I'm saving Lake Bronson for last if possible. Lake Bronson is the final frontier, and I would have been at every state park in Minnesota except Upper Sioux Agency, which, due to our knuckleheaded leadership, they got rid of that state park. And I'm really pissed off about that. But I'm sure the people who got their land back were even more pissed off about it being a state park. So thanks to our failed soy leadership, they gave it back because of bleeding heart theory. So, oh well. And then this is the trail, Pine Ridge Trail. It carries on towards the camper cabin. It continues towards this kind of the end here where there's a vault toilet conveniently. There's probably a bench too you could rest at. So we're gonna hop back on the Pine Ridge Trail. And just kind of end this scout with a hike. But wait, we're gonna check out this vault toilet because everybody wants to know, and I'm not joking. Kind of bad, but not too bad. There's one roll of toilet paper in here. The smell is kind of weird. It's a different kind of structure than I've seen before. There's a courtesy trash bag there. Oh, extra toilet paper spare in there, and some sanitizer. So you should already have that as part of your supplies. But if you don't, as of this date and time, you're good to go. Not too bad. One thing I noticed, some vault toilets you can lock from the outside. I saw one at Myrie Big Island like that, and also at the Button Box Lake Campground. I believe that's in George Washington State Forest. One of their campgrounds. So be careful if you see a vault toilet or a latrine. Latrines usually aren't encased, but if you see a vault toilet that locks from the outside, be very careful. All right. Oh, I got such an exciting feeling. So if I ever plan on coming back here for camping, I got some options. And you do too. I'm going with this one. If I don't do a drive-in one, which I probably wouldn't, I'd probably go with the walk-in. We're gonna weasel in to look at that bog walk. We got about 20 minutes till it starts getting dim. We should hit the bog walk in about 7 minutes, maybe 5. Yeah, so as of this date and time, I'm pretty behind on editing a lot of footage. I'm at the last weekend of August right now, and I have a whole lot through September and October. But I'm gonna take a break from taking trips. I'm gonna start cutting back on it in December. And I usually take my annual 3 weeks off the first 3 weeks of January. I just take a step back, order my vehicle permit pass for that year, and just kind of wait. Just kind of settle down and just get ready for an awesome year. I don't plan on doing as much trips in 2026 because I really knocked that out the park this year. So it wouldn't be practical to try to do as many. A little bit of devastation here. We got looks like a lookout here. If you're one of the lucky guys in the world that has a girlfriend that isn't an extreme liberal, this would be a good spot to kind of hang out. Enjoy each other's company. Generation Z is kind of a loss, but we'll see how Generation Alpha does. I don't have much hope. It don't matter. Hopefully I won't reincarnate when I die, so I can exit this nightmare. It wouldn't be such a bad nightmare, but it's just the sociological, the way so many different people look at things and their extreme views and the conflicting ways of living and the awkward moments and the different groups and the divisive nature of humanity. It's really a big fat turd in the punch bowl for me. You know, everyone just lies to themselves about just having faith, and there's a reason for everything, and there's always something horrible happening. It's just something really disturbing about that. It really bothers me to the core. Ooh. Yeah, it's gonna get dark pretty soon, pretty quick. So I'm gonna try to get up tomorrow no later than 8. I'm gonna check my notes. Hayes Lake, get up at 7, leave at 8. Get to Old Mill at about 9. It's about an hour ride. Do the Scout. It's a really clean cut campground. There's no walk-in sites. There's no group camps that I'm aware of, or camper cabins. I don't think so. I think there's like less than 20 sites there. It's real clean cut. I'll knock that out in about an hour and a half. then from 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. I'll be on the way to Red River State Recreation Area, and from there I'm going to allocate about 2.5 hours to scout that. Most of it's just sardine can RV camping. I'll kind of profile around and look at it, the sites, and then we'll go more in depth on the walk-in sites. But by the time you see this one, I should have already released the Big Bog State Recreation Area campground, which is probably the worst layout I've ever seen in my life. I do not recommend anybody camps there. And I also did the Franz Hevne State Park Scout campground there, and I would highly recommend you camp there. That is an awesome little campground, and that happens to be the smallest state park in Minnesota as well. But it seemed a lot bigger than that. It was bigger than I expected it. Unfortunately, as of this date, as of this weekend, they shut down for the season, so I can't go there this year. I missed it by about a week. So I might actually be there now instead of here. That's okay, this worked out. It's kind of impressive that I made it to Hayes Lake State Park this year, actually. And last weekend I had kind of a rough camp at a Big Bog State Recreation Area for Halloween. It wasn't a fun one, but there was no neighbors, at least. But I learned you can still have a really rough camp even though there's not annoying neighbors. But I got to see Upper Red Lake in real life from Tamarack River. That was kind of neat. Like a year or two ago, I'd always had the Big Bog webcam on that showed Upper Red Lake, people ice fishing on it. I just kind of had that going in the background all the time. So it's neat to kind of see it in real life. I didn't see much of it. It was from a distance, but I saw it. It's kind of like one of the moments when I first saw Lake Superior. That was last year, around the same month. Same time frame. Alright, here's the bog walk. It's getting a little dark, but we can still see it. I'm not going to worry about any of the literature here. I'm just going to walk through it real quick. It's another Minnesota Conservation Corps project. I went on the bog walk at Big Bog State Park too. That's a pretty big one. It's just a little baby bog walk here, but this is cool. A northern white cedar bog. It's real quiet out here. Ooh. Alright, not bad. I'll just keep heading back now. Take a look at Beauty Bay and then wrap it up. So some kind of microfiber towel. Thought that might be a weird mushroom or something. Those people at that camper cabin, they pull up as soon as I'm walking away here. Grufflen Bay. You see the walk-in sites from here probably. You can pinpoint their location. Alright, we're exiting the campground now. It says electric motors only. It's a cool bench, cool design. See the ice forming up down there. It's supposed to get pretty chilly tonight, in the upper teens. I should still be relatively comfortable given the gear that I got and the clothing. I'd be okay down to maybe 5 degrees Fahrenheit, and then it might get a little rough. So I should be alright. The lowest temperature I ever camped in was 4 degrees Fahrenheit. That was at Afton State Park in December of 2022. So I hiked into that backpack site in the afternoon. It was about 38 degrees Fahrenheit. And it was like a sleet. And it just slowly got colder as the night went on. And that sleet turned into snow. And I was just hunkered in my tent in a snowstorm. It was really magical, but it was super cold. But I was nice and cozy. Still a little cold though, but I was cozy. And then my second coldest camp trip was at William O'Brien State Park on St. Patrick's Day. I believe that was in 2023. Now with that one, it didn't get down to 4 degrees Fahrenheit. However, the temperature stayed at a consistent 18 and 14 degrees Fahrenheit. It stayed in that range the whole time. And I cut myself pretty bad on a knife there too, so I actually had to hop in my car for a second and bandage my cut. That was a pretty cold one. And the third coldest might have been the St. Croix State Park of this year in February, I believe. That one had really deep snow. The campsite I reserved, it wasn't plowed or nothing. So I kind of had to make do. Actually, I think I might not even been able to go to the site that I reserved because they didn't plow it. So I went to another one that was more plowed. I can't remember for sure, but that one was pretty cold as well. That one I scouted the walk-in sites at St. Croix State Park, and those are ridiculous. I wouldn't recommend those to anyone. That layout there is really knuckleheaded. You have to walk through other sites to get to other sites. It's insane. And even if you walk through other people's site to get to your site in the very end, you're still really close to the other people. And when you got to use the restroom, you got to walk through their sites. It's so stupid. And it's kind of pathetic because St. Croix State Park is one of the largest, as far as land area goes, state parks in Minnesota. It might be the largest, actually, but it's up there. So it's not like they don't got enough room. Like this state park is a fraction of that size, and they're just crushing it with these walk-in sites. So Beauty Bay should be coming up here pretty soon. Looks like the sun already set past the golden point. Yeah, right here. I'll drop in a picture from earlier while we're looking at it when I was on the way towards the campground. Alright, so now we're headed towards the picnic grounds. I'm gonna put a bow on it here. Thanks for taking a look. I hope this helped. Hope you have a good trip, or good trips. Remember, if you're camping near other people, don't use a generator, don't cough, don't giggle after every 5 words you say or after hearing 5 words from other people when they say them. Don't be a hunter. Don't smoke if you're gonna cough and you can't handle it. And don't use halogen lights and lanterns, or I will think less of you. Oh, and don't bring a dog, because they will bark. If you bring children, make sure they're book readers. Take care. All right, now we know. Now we know. I like this part. It's a good one. Non-hunting area there. All right, take care.